It was a regular Tuesday morning at the county courthouse, the kind where most folks drag their feet through metal detectors, clutching coffee cups and sighing at the long lines. But today would be anything but regular. The judge sat, high on his bench, black robe flowing like he was the king of the room. His gavel wasn't just a symbol of justice, it was power. And he knew it. Judge Ronald Barrett had built a reputation on being tough, stern, and, to some, fair. But behind that reputation was something uglier, something he thought he kept well hidden. Down below, in the sea of quiet murmurs and shuffling papers, stood a young black woman named Maya, tall, poised and calm in a way that unnerved the courtroom. She wore a simple navy blue suit, her hair pulled back, eyes locked straight ahead. To most people, she looked like a regular defendant, another person of color facing yet another unfair charge in a system that had chewed up so many before her. The charge? Fraud. Something about fake documents and identity theft. But Maya didn't flinch, she didn't plead. She just stood there and listened. What no one in that courtroom knew, not the prosecutors, not the courtroom staff, not even Judge Barrett himself, was that Maya wasn't who she seemed. She wasn't just some ordinary woman fighting an unfair system. She was an undercover FBI agent on assignment, planted deep inside one of the most racially biased court systems in the state. And she was there for one reason: to bring it all down. Now let's rewind for a second. That same morning, across town on a packed city bus, a 16-year-old black teen named Jordan was on his way to school, hoodie pulled over his head, earbuds, eyes half closed, trying to wake up. He was one of those kids you might overlook, someone who kept to himself, did his homework, stayed out of trouble. But he'd been raised right. Always help others when you can. So when a clearly pregnant white woman stepped onto the crowded bus, holding onto the rail with one hand and trying not to stumble, Jordan stood up without thinking twice. "You can take my seat, ma'am," he said, offering a soft smile. She paused, surprised, like she hadn't expected kindness. Then she sat down with a grateful nod, reaching into her purse and scribbling something quickly on a small piece of paper. Before getting off at the next stop, she handed it to him and whispered, "Read this when you're alone." Jordan opened the note during his first period break. His eyes scanned the words once, then again, slower this time. What was written there would change everything: his future, his identity, and maybe even how he saw the world. Back in the courtroom, Judge Barrett leaned forward with a smirk, convinced he had another easy win. But every move he made was being watched, recorded, and filed into a growing case that would soon explode into national headlines. Maya knew the risks. One slip up and she'd blow her cover. But she also knew that people like Barrett didn't expect women like her to fight back. These two stories, Jordan's simple act of kindness and Maya's dangerous mission, seem worlds apart. But they're about to collide in the most unexpected way. And when they do, the truth that comes out will shake a city, challenge everything people think they know about justice, and force everyone to choose which side they're really on. What was in the note? Why was Maya chosen for this mission? And how far would Judge Barrett go to protect his secrets? The answers are coming. But first, you need to see how it all began. Maya hadn't always worked for the FBI. In fact, not too long ago, she'd been just another law student with student loans and a passion for justice. She'd grown up in Atlanta, raised by her grandmother after her parents passed in a car accident when she was 8. Her grandmother always told her, "If you're going to change the world, baby, you've got to know how it works first." So Maya studied hard. Law came easy to her. Understanding people, reading between the lines, catching the moments others missed. She'd seen injustice firsthand. Friends arrested for things they didn't do. Classmates treated like suspects, just for walking home at night. She never forgot. That's what made her accept the Bureau's offer when it came. It wasn't just about the badge. It was about using it for something bigger. Now she was deep undercover in a city where the justice system wasn't broken. It was being used exactly how it was designed. Her target? Judge Ronald Barrett. He had been on the bench for over 20 years, And during that time, a pattern had started to show. Over and over again, black and brown defendants were getting longer sentences, fewer chances, and more convictions, especially if they didn't have high-priced lawyers. Barrett was always careful, always within the lines, but Maya knew the difference between legal and just, and she wasn't the only one. Her mission had started months earlier, with the Bureau quietly collecting data, complaints, case files, but data wasn't enough. They needed proof from the inside. That's where she came in. Her cover was airtight. New name, fake records, even a staged arrest that put her in Barrett's courtroom for the first time 3 weeks ago. He didn't know who she really was. He didn't know the camera in her necklace was streaming every word he said. And he definitely didn't know that the quiet woman he was trying to frame was recording how he manipulated testimony and coached the prosecutor behind closed doors. Maya had to keep playing along, keep being the defendant he thought he could crush. But every day it got riskier. One wrong move, one file out of place, and it could all come crashing down. Meanwhile, Jordan sat at his desk at school, staring at the note again. The words kept echoing in his head. "You don't know me, but I know who you are, and I know what was taken from your family." The handwriting was neat, but rushed. On the back, a phone number. No name, no explanation. It didn't make sense. His family wasn't involved in anything, at least not that he knew of. His mom worked long hours as a nurse. His dad wasn't around. Just him and his little sister trying to stay out of trouble, in a neighborhood that didn't always make that easy. He debated telling someone, maybe his mom or one of his teachers. But something about the way the woman had looked at him stuck in his mind, like she knew something he didn't. That night, when the house was quiet and his sister was asleep, he called the number. It rang once, then twice. Click. A voice answered. Calm. Female. "I've been waiting for your call, Jordan." He froze. "Who is this?" The line crackled. "Someone who owes your family the truth. But I can't talk here. Not on this line. Look under. The blue rock by the fence at 33rd and Pine. Noon tomorrow. Come alone." Then the call ended. Back at the courthouse, Maya was called back into Judge Barrett's chambers. Private meeting. Just the two of them, and a legal assistant who never made eye contact. The judge smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "You know," he said slowly, pouring himself a glass of water, "people like you should know when to cut a deal. You keep fighting, and things tend to get worse." Maya tilted her head slightly. "I just want the truth to come out, Your Honor." His eyes narrowed. "Truth's whatever the jury believes, and I make sure they believe the right thing." There it was. Not quite a confession, but close. She kept her face neutral, but inside her heart pounded. Her recorder was still running. As she left his office, she passed the assistant, a young woman with tired eyes and a twitch in her hand like she was always on edge. Maya wondered how many people in this building knew what was going on. How many just stayed silent because it was easier. The next morning, Jordan stood at the edge of the fence on 33rd and Pine, nervously looking around. It was an empty lot, half-grown weeds and broken glass scattered across the ground. The blue rock was there, just like the voice said. He picked it up, and underneath was a small envelope. Inside, a photograph. It was old, yellowed at the edges. A younger version of his mom, standing with a man Jordan didn't recognize. The man was in handcuffs, being led away by police. Behind them, the sign for a courthouse. This courthouse. On the back of the photo were 3 words. He didn't do it. Jordan stared at it, his mind spinning. His mom never talked about the past, and he'd never seen this picture before. Who was the man? Why was this being brought to him now? He shoved the photo in his backpack and walked away, not noticing. The black sedan parked across the street. Inside, someone watched him through tinted glass, phone in hand. That same day, Maya sat at her makeshift apartment typing up her report. The case was getting hotter. Barrett was making mistakes, too confident, too careless. But the deeper she went, the more she realized something bigger was going on. Certain cases were disappearing from records, evidence going missing, witnesses being intimidated. It wasn't just the judge, It was a network, and someone at the top wanted to make sure the truth stayed buried. She clicked through an old case, file, and something caught her eye. A last name, Williams. The defendant was charged with assault and robbery 15 years ago, convicted in Judge Barrett's courtroom. Maya paused. The picture in the file matched the man in the photograph Jordan had just found. Her stomach dropped. If that man was related to Jordan, and if he had been framed, then this wasn't just about corruption. It was about covering up something personal, something that might tie everything together. She picked up her phone and called her contact at the bureau. I need everything you can find on the Williams case from 2010. And fast. I think we've got a connection. Is your cover safe? The voice on the line asked. For now, Maya said, lowering her voice. But the walls are closing in. Outside, the city buzzed with the noise of traffic and life. People walked past each other, unaware of the secrets hiding behind courtroom doors or tucked under old rocks. But the truth was moving, slowly coming to the surface. And soon, the people responsible would have to face it, but not yet, not just yet.